Look around the room you're sitting in. The phone, the laptop, the television, the apps, the accounts, the subscriptions, the platforms, the services. Most of us look at these things and think, mine, my phone, my account, my files, my audience, my business, my content, my life. But let me ask you something. If you stop paying for the software, does the device still do what you need it to do? If a platform changes its rules tomorrow, how much of your audience do you actually own? If an algorithm stops recommending your work, how much of your success remains under your control? It's a strange question because we live in a world with more access than any generation before us. More information, more convenience, more tools, more opportunities, and yet many people feel less ownership than ever. Not because something was taken from them, because they slowly traded ownership for convenience, and the trade felt invisible. Today we're looking at 3 things people accidentally rent out, and how to reclaim the one thing that determines almost everything else, your attention. The first thing many people rent out is their environment, not physically, psychologically. Think about how many parts of your life operate on permission, software subscriptions, cloud storage, streaming services, platforms, memberships, accounts. Everything works until it doesn't. The interesting part isn't the technology, it's what happens to the mind. Because when you don't own the tool, you naturally start adapting yourself to the tool. You learn the rules, the boundaries, the limitations, the acceptable behavior. Without realizing it, your thinking becomes shaped by the system you're operating inside. Imagine someone handing you a key. At first, it feels like ownership, freedom, control. Then one day you discover it isn't a key. It's a lease agreement. You can stay as long as you comply. Most people don't notice how much mental energy gets spent maintaining access, not because anyone forces them to, because uncertainty quietly changes behavior. The possibility of losing access influences decisions long before access is actually lost. And that's where ownership begins to matter. Ownership changes how you think. Renting changes how you behave. The second thing people rent out is their decision making. This is where things become more subtle. Most people believe they're making independent choices: what to watch, what to buy, what to create, what to pursue. But how many of those decisions were truly yours? And how many were simply the default path? Every system has incentives. Every platform has preferred behaviors. Every environment quietly suggests certain actions. The easiest button, the recommended option, the next video, the trending topic, the popular opinion, the optimized route. None of these things force you. They simply guide you, which means the real question isn't, can you choose? Of course you can. The real question is, how often do you choose something other than what was suggested? Because there's a difference between freedom and management. Management doesn't require force, it only requires convenience. The moment the default path becomes invisible, it becomes powerful. And over time, something strange happens. You begin confusing the rewarded choice with the right choice. If the system rewards it, it must be correct. If the system promotes it, it must be valuable. If everyone else is doing it, it must be working. But ownership often begins with the opposite question. What would I choose if nobody suggested anything? That's where independent thinking starts, not with rebellion, with awareness. The third thing people rent out is their attention, and this is the most important one, because attention is the foundation underneath every other form of ownership. Think about it. Whatever controls your attention influences your thoughts. Whatever influences your thoughts influences your decisions. Whatever influences your decisions influences your future. Which means attention isn't just focus, it's agency. Most people assume freedom means having unlimited options, but unlimited options don't automatically create freedom. Sometimes they create dependence because accessibility and freedom are not the same thing. Just because you can do anything doesn't mean you're free to do nothing. Sit quietly for 10 minutes, no phone, no music, no stimulation, no content, no scrolling. For many people, that's surprisingly difficult, not because they're weak, because their attention has become accustomed to being guided, directed, managed, pulled. The moment attention becomes uncomfortable, something immediately appears to capture it, and that's the danger, not distraction, dependency. Because when attention can no longer remain where you place it, ownership starts to be slipping away. So how do you reclaim it? The first step is what I call a sovereignty audit. Pick one tool, platform, habit, or system you use every day. Then ask yourself a simple question. If this disappeared tomorrow, what would I actually have left? Would the skill remain? Would the relationships remain? Would the knowledge remain? Would the business remain? The answer reveals what you own and what you're borrowing. The second step is analog resistance. Spend time somewhere terms of service don't exist. No metrics, no algorithms, no notifications, no feedback loops, a walk, a notebook, a conversation, a quiet room. Anything that doesn't require permission from a system. Not because technology is bad, because your brain needs reminders that reality exists beyond the interface. The third step is intentional friction. Make it harder for systems to guide you automatically. Turn off autoplay, turn off recommendations, turn off next up features. Remove shortcuts, reclaim the pause. Because most meaningful decisions happen inside that pause, and most systems are designed to eliminate it. Here's the truth. Freedom isn't the absence of rules, it's the presence of ownership. Ownership of your time, ownership of your attention, ownership of your decisions, ownership of your mistakes. Because mistakes you own can teach you something. Mistakes made for someone else's system usually teach you very little. The strange thing about modern life is that most people don't lose freedom all at once. They trade it away one convenience at a time. One shortcut, one recommendation, one default setting, one automatic decision, until eventually they stop noticing the difference between choosing and being guided. Which means the question isn't whether you're free. The question is whether you're aware of what currently owns your attention. So let me ask you something. What's one part of your life where you've started feeling like a renter instead of an owner? What would it take to get the deed back? Let me know in the comments. The hardware is yours. Stop renting the software, and I'll see you in the next video.